Welcome to the More Life, Less Drama podcast with mindset expert and master executive coach, Prue Sulicic, who will teach you how to finish your first goal and then every goal using her simple, proven formula. If you're ready to live more life, have more fun, and reach your potential with less drama, you're in the right place.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of More Life, Less Drama. Today I'm doing something different for this 101st episode. Today I'm going to answer a question that one of my lovely listeners has written in and asked me to answer publicly, so it could potentially help her, of course, but also help you, the ones following along. Because what I know to be true is that even though circumstances might be slightly different, the overall theme of the question might be something that you have a question about too, and you can apply it to your own life. So let's dive in and hear what this one listener had to ask. For some background, this listener is a small business owner who loves her work, and she chooses to work on weekends and evenings, but keeps getting comments from other people about how much she works. And if that's you and that also happens to you, then this answer is definitely going to resonate for you as well. So the question was, I love my work and I choose to work outside the usual 9 to 5. I still have time for the things and people I love, but I keep getting criticized. People telling me I should slow down or create more balance. How do I resolve this for myself, and how do I respond to people making these comments? Great question. I love it. Thank you so much for writing in. And as I said, if something similar is happening to you, then listen on, because you potentially will be able to know how to handle this. So let's break this down. Your truth as a business owner first. When you run your own business, especially if you love what you do, your work won't always follow a neat 9 to 5 schedule. But many people have a mindset of a 9 to 5 schedule. So the point of running your own business usually starts from a place of, I want my own time freedom, because I know for myself that it's exactly why I have stayed in business for so long, even though it can be very difficult at times. But the whole idea that you get to choose your time and when you do things and how you do things is a really important part of being in business. So the compromise is that it's not a 9 to 5 schedule, but also the compromise of the compromise is that you have to change your mindset about working in a 9 to 5 schedule. So that's the whole point, right? If you love working on weekends, great. If you don't like working on weekends, great. Or if you get a creative burst at 8 p.m. at night and you've already worked all day and you just want to go with it, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just your rhythm. So as a business owner, it's really important to find your own rhythm and what works for you. And then we just have to figure out how to be okay with other people criticizing or not having the same opinion about that balance that you've created. Okay, so that brings me to the next point, other people's opinions. This is the tricky part, because the truth is, like I've already mentioned, not everybody gets it. So many people live into the 9 to 5 employee mindset. And I just want to say that there's nothing wrong with that either. Like, there is nothing wrong with either truth, but because this person feels like she's criticized for working hard in her own business, she needs to be able to resolve that for herself. So you might have family or friends that are used to that traditional work day and think anything outside of that is too much. I've even seen business coaches and people of influence talking about creating the balance. Firstly, I don't really believe the idea of balance. And secondly, I just think that you need to do what is right for you, and that's really hard sometimes. But going back to the first point, not everybody gets it, and you have to be okay that not everybody gets it. All the people that you have to worry about are you. You're the one that has to get it, and that's it. Because you're not doing anything wrong, you're running your business in a way that works for you, and for every person who tells you to work less, someone will say you're not working hard enough. So go figure, you cannot make everybody happy. So if you're trying to win their approval, you'll always lose. You just need to get the approval from yourself. because the real peace comes from making your own decisions. But this is how you neutralize the noise. It's through grounded commitment. And I talk about grounded commitment, but it's about knowing why you're doing things. It's knowing that you are worthy just as you are. And it's knowing that the decisions that you make for yourself are the right decisions for you, and being committed to that truth for yourself. So you've already made the decision to build the business your way. The goal now is to follow through on that decision without getting pulled into the guilt and the shame or the need to justify it to others. And that means getting neutral about comments. I often talk about finding neutral as an emotion, because if you have the opportunity to pick up any emotion that you want, sometimes neutral is the best one. And as an analogy, you can think of neutral like being the neutral gear shift of a car. So if you've ever driven a manual car, you'll know that if you put it into like first gear, it'll create some action, and if you put it in reverse, it'll create a different action. But if you put it into neutral, it's got like a lot of room. You can like wiggle that joystick around and it's not actually going anywhere. And so you can do that for your emotional state as well. Give yourself like a bit of wiggle room, and just to be able to like find yourself at neutral, so you then can choose what you want to think about and put meaning to things that come up. For family and friends that do bring this up with you quite often, you can hear them, you can acknowledge them, and you can not make it mean anything about you. Now, do you need to say and respond to these comments? Not always. But if it is someone close to you and you do want to gently draw a boundary, because it's in your right to do that, here's a simple way of saying it. You can say, hey, I know it might look like I'm always working in your eyes, but I actually like how my life is set up right now. I've got time for the things I care about. My work gives me energy, and I'd love your support, even if it doesn't look like your version of balance. And you can just say it in the way that you would naturally say something like that. And that's it. You don't need to convince them, just stand in your own certainty. Okay, so now you get to decide what your version of success looks like. If your business is giving you energy, if you're proud of what you're building, and if you still have space for what matters, you're doing great. No explanation needed. And remember, you can apply this to your life even if you're not in business, but love your work or love an activity that you are constantly being criticized for doing too much of. Okay, that's it. A short and sweet episode today. I hope I answered your question. And if anybody listening to this wants me to answer their own question, you can write in. I've got the links in the show notes to do that. And I really look forward to seeing more questions so I can answer them here on the podcast. Okay, have a great day. Bye. If you're a business owner who's tired of half-finished projects, broken promises to yourself, and goals that keep getting pushed to next week or maybe never, listen up. I've created a brand new online class just for you. It's called Finish What Grows Your Business, Even Without Motivation, and it's all about helping you finally follow through on the things that you know will move the needle inside your business. No more waiting for the perfect mood or a clear calendar. I'll show you exactly how to build momentum and finish what matters, even on the messy days. It's free, it's practical, and it's happening soon. Head to the link in the show notes to save your spot. You don't need more motivation. You need a system that works for you. Let's do this together.